Save it.
AC Milan.
Save it for after.
I'm hot already.
All right, let's go.
Okay, yeah, I'm recording.
Okay, yeah, good, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, you need to be like, there you go.
Right.
Okay, what's our first podcast, guys?
This is our first podcast.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is.
What's it about?
Well, bear with me because as this is our first one, we do have some talking points.
Okay.
But what I think, does that sound
No,
That's not
How do they do it? I don't know.
This is it. We've started.
Yeah.
So let's just start
go.
talking.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what I want to talk about first is Fuse when we started versus Fuse now, right? So I have probably done the longest stretch, right? It was like 11 years.
Already?
Yeah, 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty long. But yeah, I thought it would be interesting for people to understand, especially as new people are joining the business and stuff and people are joining the content team and that, is how we got our jobs and why we've stayed there so long.
Well, seeing as you started the longest, let's start with you, and then we'll just go.
Sounds good.
We'll go around.
Right. So I just left university, and I actually went into when I first left university, I went into a graduate scheme, and I got through 100 people into the final 3. And I got offered a job as an IT recruitment sales consultant. This is after studying film and television production at Portsmouth. And I got the job, right? And it was I hated it. Right?
How? IT is wonderful, isn't it?
IT is not trying
That's
to sell
great.
C++ developers and all that kind of stuff. Like I didn't even know. I wanted to make films. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to I want to be creative was my number one thing, right? So luckily, I went on Facebook and Lucy Ringhofer, who used to work at Fuse, hooked me up with Jonathan Adams, who used to work at Fuse, and he reached out to me and he said, make us a video, right? And I made this video called Back at 3, I think you lot have seen it, where my mum's coming back and I wreck the flat and all this kind of stuff.
Based on true events.
Pretty much based on true events, but it's very out there for a job application, do you know what I mean? And I was acting in it and stuff like that. And then when I sent it, I remember me and my mum being super duper nervous and it was really going to laugh me out of like the interview process, do you know what I mean? But then Jonathan rang me straight away and said, I want to give you some money and you can just come and do stuff here. And it was startup. It was super duper startup. Like I think there was about, I don't know, maybe 10 people there when I joined. And one of the first people I met was Darren Campbell.
So I joined really randomly. An even more bizarre story is, so I finished university. I was working in retail at the time and I kind of slipped into full-time retail. And then I thought, I need to get out of retail. I need to focus on the job that I actually qualified for. And Twitter had just started up. Well, it had been around for a couple of years, but I'd just created an account and I started following people that was basically advertising jobs in design and media. And one of the jobs that were advertised was a 3-month, all expenses paid job in Seville.
And sweet.
Seville's in Spain.
Seville in Spain.
Yes,
They're a hot one.
Yes.
It's very hot here.
And it would be for 20 people. And it sounded a bit of a wind-up, but I thought I'll apply anyway. And within a couple of days, I got an interview with the guys that was running the Fuse school at the time. So I did a remote interview, sent through a showreel, and then a week later I got accepted. And that was it. I was off getting ready to go to Seville for 3 months to work in the design firm.
3 months?
3 months. So there was 20 of us that flew out there, but we did our onboarding at the Fuse office at the time.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So we all basically met up down in London, all the 20 of us there, and Ryan had just started, and he was still fresh-faced, and he was still rocking to work in a suit.
Yeah, a suit that I nicked from that other job.
Oh,
yeah.
So wait, you just
I lost that job.
Going back a bit, the graduate scheme, did you actually go to...
Oh, no, I went there.
For how long?
About a week. I've never lost a job in my life, but they gave me £500 TM Lewin voucher.
Oh, okay.
And then I wore that suit to
the office
Fuse Universal
every day.
For a good while.
Yeah.
Like 2 months.
Get the use out of TM Lewin's lush.
Yeah, but I was trying to make a good impression.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you came in like it was first day of court, I remember.
Then I didn't realise that, like, creative job is pretty chilled, isn't it? And
Yeah.
then that's, slowly stopped.
It was
where
very
we sit and
different. It was
stuff.
a different vibe. Like
I
you
was
said,
well nervous when I went in that room.
Yeah, because there was like 20 of us just stood there.
I had no idea about like the Fuse School, Seville. I was
Yeah.
just in there like I thought this is corporate. Realised after a while it's very flexible, very fun, very creative. But Steve said to me, "Come in this room," and I went. I did not expect it, man. I went in there. They're all sitting on the floor. They're all sitting on the
Yeah,
floor.
we
like
didn't
school,
even-
all these
we didn't-
grown-ups,
Was that what they call
20 of
it?
them.
Carpet
Hello.
time. Carpet time, isn't it?
Yeah, carpet time.
So right, so Ryan said out how he got the interview. He had to do a video. Darren, did you have to do anything?
Yeah, so I did a remote interview initially.
Is this for Fuse though?
This was so it was kind of like it was a twofold thing. So Fuse School at the time had managed to work with an individual who had connections. He lived out in Seville in Spain, and he was getting funding through the European Union. And the idea was that you would fly people out from the UK, they'd spend a bit of time in Spain, learn the culture, learn the history, but also work in their industry, their design fields, whatever it is. So we had people from different mediums, like you had videographers out there, you had animators out there, you had designers, and each one of us was placed in a different company in Spain. So you'd spend half the time working with a design firm, and the other half you'd spend working on the Fuse School thing. So Fuse School got some great content out of it. We got a great experience abroad, and the European Union funded it all.
Wow.
It was a great little gig.
And we're kind of going in order now. So Ryan, did you join first or did Darren join
So
first?
Ryan
joined
joined,
first.
Okay.
but, during my onboarding.
So why did you miss the Seville trip? What's going on there?
I was going for the money. I wanted a paid job. I didn't know. No, I didn't know about it.
All right.
I, literally, when I came there, and then I heard, I didn't know about the Fuse School. I imagine I applied for a job at Fuse.
Oh,
It's
of
only
course,
when you
'cause it's
join, innit, you understand that they've got that like fantastic arm of the business.
different business. Yeah.
But it turned out to be really successful in terms of a recruitment arm for the business, because out of the back of it, myself, Sarah, Howard, all still Bridge. He wasn't Fuse School. But those three people have spent a combined 30 years at the business.
And they're still here.
that.
Yeah,
And
that's
they're
still
still
here.
here.
That's sick.
And with the amount of people that have come and gone over the years that was born of that, Sir Pete Smith,
Yeah.
but there's loads of names that people won't know, but we probably had about 20 people that joined the business off the back of that one initiative.
Yeah.
It's a good launch pad. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be nice to see that video that you shot in Seville.
No, it would not be nice.
we
show that.
really would like. We want
No,
to see
no.
that
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
point.
There's some absolute risque content back in the day. It's pure cowboy stuff. There was one instance where we all got put makeup on and we had to pretend we were animals
That's
prancing
the one I
around the
wanna
forest. Shocking, really shocking. But they was paying you your food and your beer money at the
Well,
time,
you
so
do
you
anything.
sign up.
Glad I didn't go, really. By the sounds of it.
And Stefano, what about you? So, and again, we're kind of cascading. So Ryan joined first, then it was
Yeah.
Darren, then
I think I started a while after. I think the year after. or
Yeah,
something
he was
like
only
that.
a year. He was only a
Yeah.
year, so
And it's been a very, very long story coming from Italy and done a lot of hospitality work for many, many years. And again, it was completely random. Strange story again, because at some point I was like, I got enough of this. I've got these savings. If I manage to find something that I love, that is something I studied as well, because I studied animation. And if I manage to find something good, I stay. Otherwise, see you later. I'm going back to Italy. And before finishing the savings, I just applied. Well, keep applying for loads of jobs, and I applied to this Fuse School job. And I don't know. I was kind of lucky because Freddie, the guy at the time, I think is the same guy that replied to your application. He just said that sorry, no more places available, but the corporate side of the business is looking for staff. I was like, great, you wanna come? Yeah, come for an interview. And and then I showed my work, and in about 10 minutes I was playing pool and I got a job. Yeah.
I love the fact that Fuse was literally the last. It's literally the last thing that kept you in the UK. Like the way you tell that,
is.
it's like if you hadn't have done that, then you'd be like in Italy making shoes. With your
Oh
uncles.
yeah, my story would be completely different. Now I live here. Got a girlfriend here, got a house,
Lovely,
baby on the way.
nice. Another Fuse child. Well, that'll have to be a whole separate podcast. Wouldn't it? The Fuse like family, like how many kids have come out of Fuse. And then I guess me, I'm probably the only one that didn't. Well, I did interview, but I didn't send anything in. Obviously, Ryan got me my job.
I can't get rid of Dale. It's the 25 years following me around.
To be honest with you, that's everybody's story who has known me for that long. It's like they just can't get rid of me. But I like to think I'm good to keep around. Ryan, I was working in retail as well, supermarket, night shift manager for ages. I had a 2.5-year-old at the time, and Ryan was. We were at our mate Mitch's house, and just having a drink and a catch up. And Ryan was like, "Oh, I'll get you a job soon if you want to change, sort of your way or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, obviously, I want to get back doing cameras." But I didn't really think about it. And then it was a few months later. You just said, "I'll come in for an interview," and then I had I went to for a holiday in America, came back from there, and just started. I just left Sainsbury's. It was brilliant.
I remember when the first time I met you was a job for that Talk company. One of the first time we've done a scenario deconstruction interactive video. Oh yeah.
And all four of us were there actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might have been. Because that was freelance. That might have been what happened then. We might have done that. We must have done that gig and gone back to Mitch's, and then you must have sort of said off the back of that, if we do this more regularly, then we'll
I think I just wanted to get you a job.
Well, yeah, there was that.
I knew he was good, and we all know he's good, and his passion for technology and stuff is outstanding. I don't think there's anyone at Fuse who loves their job as much as Dale. If you look at what he's done in the last year, how many miles did you drive to? You went as well, didn't you, Stefano, to France?
Oh yeah,
the last one, yeah.
So driving to France to film for certain clients and getting to see, no offense to Sainsbury's, but obviously Sainsbury's is restricted to one place, and Dale has, excelled and been able to do all these fantastic things, which I think is really good. And he again now has been in 7-8 years?
8 years in October. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all long stretches. Do you know what I mean? And I think what I'd want to ask you a lot about is why have you stayed so long? Stefano, why have you stayed so long?
Well, I think the things that keeps me here, the most important thing here that I find at Fuse is the creative freedom that I've got within projects that we're working on, and to explain this concept a bit better, I think that the taking initiative factor.
The value.
The value of taking initiative is very important, because this means that if you want to do something, to explore a certain area of your creativity or whatever you want to work on, you've got the chance to do it at Fuse. So if you explain the business, what you want to do to the business, and if it's good, if it gives
it's not
good
too
value,
out there.
Yeah, exactly. And they give you time to improve and explore, and doing so you continuously improve yourself and learn. Exactly.
It's all about learning.
Exactly. Yeah, you learn on the job. For example, I've given a practical example. I'm relearning 3D because I kind of forgot all about it. But I'm learning 3D again on the base of a project that we are running on the background about Fuse. We're creating a Fuse world in 3D, and it will be very interesting to see how that one turns out.
I totally agree with what you're saying about the creative freedom. I've been there as long as I have. I've had loads of different roles, feels like anyway, jobs, different kind of stuff. But even talking to Steve recently, I said I want to do more creative stuff. And obviously I have loads of different more responsibilities now, manager and all that kind of stuff. But he is still Steve that was there when I rocked up on the first day. And I said, look, I want to be more creative. I want to do more stuff. Hence why we're trying our hand at a podcast. Or, do you know what I mean? And things like this. And he just says, yeah, if you want to go for it, go for it. See if it works. If it doesn't work, don't worry about it. At least you tried something. At least you learned something. And I think for us as well, being creative people and having that freedom is very, very important to us. That's why probably freelancers like their job so much, because of the variety that they have with the content that they produce, whether it be a cameraman, animator, or whatever. But having creative people in a corporate world, creating content that we love making with customers in a creative way is maybe it keeps us sane to a certain degree. I know you all very well, and everyone else in the content team. I know 100% if I started asking you to do the same thing every single day, you would be calling HR.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't want me. That you'd be like, Ryan's making me do the same things all the time. But yeah, I just totally agree with you, Steve.
100%. I think variety is key as well, and I think we talk about learning all the time. The one thing that I obviously like when I first joined, Ryan knows, and everybody knows that I'm tech forward. It's like, unfortunately, a lot of my interests cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what you gave me and what Fuse gave me the opportunity to do is think about using the technology in a different way, and like understanding. And again, I never thought like with the TV and film making background that I'd ever do anything to do with learning. But the fact that we've adapted to this new world and we understand so much more about like learning and development now, that was a really fun challenge for me to look at, how we can use drones and how we can use 360 cameras and how we can use all the software that supports it and creates it in the realm of learning and development. And that's, again, something that Fuse has always supported, and you supported as my manager in that. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed it. That's 100% why I've stayed. The variety in like learning, the variety in projects,
Customers,
great
customers,
yeah.
great, open-minded customers that want to push the envelope when it comes to learning. And I think that's what Steve and Fuse want to do as well. I think when they see us, like, he must have saw me and been like, oh, there's a film kid. Do you know what I mean? Must have seen Darren as an animation game building kid. Stefano's illustrator extraordinaire, understands the message fantastically. But enabling us to bring those stuff that are like industry things and apply it all to learning, and it works. Like, if you look at even the feedback we got this week from Audicar, there's one from Neil. His name is Neil, right? He says the best training he's ever seen. And that is like an absolute amalgamation of live footage, animation, interactivity, being able to play it through gamification, all that kind of stuff. Whereas I don't think you'd get that with your, I don't want to say bog standard, but your standard score maker.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or instructional designer. And I think it goes back to what I'm really passionate about at the moment is being considerate of our target audiences and not just getting them to tick boxes with their learning. Like, if you can make them engage with it, enjoy it, share it, and also bridge that gap between how we learn at home and how we learn at work. Like, if I want to know something at home, I don't find a SCORM course online, or I don't, to be honest, I don't run to the library either. Like, it will most likely be a video or readings, like a PDF or something. But I feel like we can't wrap everything in this old way of doing stuff, right? And I think the reason that I've stayed long is one of the narratives for myself is going on these journeys with customers and convincing them to think differently about learning. And it's very skeptical at the beginning. Like, you lot have been there with me loads of times.
Yeah,
where
it's a
they're
slow
like,
process.
Yeah, but they're like, I don't want to do this, it's scary, and then 99% of the time you end up making something beautiful that helps the whole business. It's a really, really nice thing. Anyways, enough about that. Why have you stayed so long, Daz?
I think, obviously the big one is the freedom. I think when we first started, Ryan, the business has changed like 2-3 times over. The business that we joined is not the business that we're in now. And I think absolutely the freedom we're given to try new things, different media, it absolutely benefits us because it keeps us engaged, keeps us excited about the work we're doing. But it also benefits Fuse and the clients indirectly, because if you look at our content offering now, everything that we're rolling out, all the interactive side of content, the different levels of the animation that we provide, that's all been done through research and trying new things. Like, when we first started, we were making videos with PowerPoint and we were recording the screen, and that was our video content offering. Off the back of that, with your skill set in filming, you went out.
Your skill set, mate.
Oh, smooth.
And your skill set. And your skill set.
But we've
and
got
everyone else's skill set back at the office.
But we've got a whole film team now that goes out and captures content with, industry leading equipment. We've got content offerings around interactive content, whole new ways of creating content that didn't exist if it wasn't for that freedom to try new things and see what potentially could work commercially, and also something that we're really excited about and passionate about.
Yeah, so true.
Did you join at the time of PowerPoint videos, Stefano, or were you kind of?
I think I joined slightly after, when I think the people were already using After Effects.
The After Effects vendetta.
And when I started, it was like, I don't know, I sat down on the desk and I was like, I don't remember anything about this software. I don't know it. And I had Stella and Sarah next to me, Sarah from Cumbria and Stella from Glasgow, and I'm like, I don't understand them.
Yeah.
So it was a bit complicated at the beginning, but you see, I picked it up quite quickly.
Again, like it's that you know, the fact that there was an environment for you to learn and be able to learn. You know,
it was honestly the I don't know, the life of that office. It was special. I think we were all very close. We were all very young. It was a special time, I think, of the Fuse story.
Well, it's mad when you think, isn't it? Because we all started at Fuse when we were in our 20s, right? And that, like, now go, like, obviously, and I think as you grow up, like, going from 20s to 30s is quite a big.
We've given it the best years of our lives.
But that's what I mean. It's like, in shorthand, yeah. But, you know, it's, you know, we've grown with the business, but we've grown up together. So I don't want to sound too cheesy, but, you know, it is, you know.
The thing about the creative freedom as well, like, it's not just restricted to the content team. Like, I see it across the business. I see people trying out new things that I probably can't talk about confidently, but, you know, from the platform side of things and functionality and the fantastic work that Reese does and Howard does and Bridge does, just to name a few, I imagine it's exactly the same over there, and that's why those people have stayed as long as they have as well.
We'll have to have Howard and Bridge on because they're two really, and I know Bridge has done a spotlight video about it, but they're key examples of how open Fuse is. Like Howard and Bridge both started as designers, if I'm not wrong, right? And now they're
product owners, I think.
Product owners, and God knows.
It's a great example.
Yeah, it's wicked.
Great example.
I don't know what Bridge does, but I know if I ever need a hand with a platform, I just ask
at
him.
home,
He just
plugged
knows.
into Fuse,
He is
like Neo.
He is Neo.
Literally, the lights off.
Yeah, lights off
In the server.
Just his
You ever seen
strobe lights
Tron?
going off.
It's like
Yeah.
Tron.
But yeah, no. So, you know, it'd be good to you know, have a longer conversation with them and understand, you know, like
Totally,
you said.
and get different perspectives.
Yeah.
I think in summary, what I'm taking away from this conversation is it's sort of like a decent message to anyone that was interested in working at Fuse, anyone who is interested in creating content similar to us, anyone who's interested in, you know, helping the world learn is what we're trying to do. And I think if you want to know more, feel free to get in touch, and we'd be able to, especially from a content perspective, we'd be able to elaborate on our journeys and hopefully take you on board.
Definitely.
Sounds good.